Hey everybody, Movie Reviewer Next Door here, and I'm back with another review. And this time, I saw Christine. I know it's kind of hard to see that it's not focusing well. This is a 1983 horror film directed by John Carpenter, and it stars Keith Gordon, John Stockwell, Alexandra Paul, Robert Prosky, and Harry Dean Stanton. In this film, geeky student Arnie Cunningham falls for Christine, a rusty 1958 Plymouth Fury, and becomes obsessed with restoring the classic automobile to her former glory. As the car changes, so does Arnie, whose newfound confidence turns to arrogance behind the wheel of his exotic beauty. Arnie's girlfriend Lee and best friend Dennis try to reach out to him, only to be met by a fury like no other. So, what did I think of Christine? Gotta say, I was a bit disappointed by this one. But after looking into it, I can kind of see why. Um, but yeah, there are things that I like about it, but I can't bring myself to fully say it's a good movie because I mean, it's watchable. I can at least say that. It's watchable. It's not offensively bad or anything. But other than the main performance, nothing really stands out for me about the film. But yeah, let me get to the cast. Keith Gordon plays Arnie Cunningham. I know this actor from Dress to Kill. I love that film. He did good in that, and he does good here. He really plays up the whole thing of, oh, I'm slowly turning evil because of this car thing. The only issue I'd say with that is that it happens a bit too quick. Because within like the first 30 minutes of this almost 2 hour long movie, which it does not need to be almost 2 hours long, given the amount of content in it, um, it goes way too fast. Like you could tell he's already like kind of crazy by like 30 minutes in, and that's like around 30 minutes in, you should be just starting it out, you know, like slowly building it up. But he's still good in the film. John Stockwell plays Dennis Gilder. He's a jock that's friends with Arnie. He's okay. I've never really cared for this actor. He's been in other films. He also has directed films like Blue Crush, Into the Blue, Turistas, uh, Kickboxer Vengeance, Dark Tide, Cat Run 1 and 2. He's directed before. In the Blood, I liked. That's probably the only film of his I've liked so far, but other than that, not really much. But he's okay here. He's not anything special. Same with Alexandra Paul as Lee Cabot. I've liked Alexandra Paul in films before. Here I don't like her. I liked her in I thought she was in that one. Huh. I thought she was in that Last Man Standing with Bruce Willis, but I guess she wasn't because I'm not seeing it here. Yeah. Uh yeah, just not a really good performance from her. She's really bland, and the time she's supposed to look upset, she really doesn't sell it. Robert Prosky is Will Darnell. He owns this auto body shop that excuse me, that Artie's keeping the car at. He's very over the top. I've probably seen him in something before. I guess Miss Doubtfire. This performance really doesn't work in that it feels like he's really overplaying it so that we'll be okay with him being one of the people to die by the car. Um, Harry Dean Stanton also is kind of wasted as Rudolph Junkins. He's a cop that comes around investigating the car. You don't hire Harry Dean Stanton if you're not going to give him something to do, and he really doesn't do much in this. And that leads to one of my biggest issues with this film. I understand that in some ways you're supposed to feel for Arnie. Now, by making every character around him annoying as hell or complete assholes, you've kind of ruined your whole thing of, oh, you want him to get better. Because you've made every character that surrounds him an asshole. Because the first time you meet his mom and dad, they're getting mad at him for buying a car. This is the first time we've seen these characters, and the next time we see these characters and the time after that, they're very overbearing parents, very unlikable in how they're portrayed. And then there's the last scene that we see them, and the mom is crying and all this, and you're supposed to feel bad for the parents, and they just don't play them likable at all. It doesn't feel like they're giving him tough love. It feels like the parents legitimately just want him to do everything they want him to do, and you're trying to make the audience feel bad for them when I legitimately just don't. Everyone that gets killed by Christine in the film, and yeah, maybe some people don't know that this is about a killer car, but everybody that gets killed by Christine eith is either a complete asshole or deserves it. Literally, if you see a character in this movie that's acting like an over-the-top asshole, like no one acts in real life, they're gonna die from they're gonna get killed by Christine. Sorry to spoil it like that, but that's how horribly this is written. And again, you can have those over-the-top characters, but give the other main characters more to do. John Stockwell's character in this does basically nothing until the very end. I understand. He gets injured on the court and they insinuate that Christine did it, which I don't know. I don't know what her effect is. They don't really that's an issue with John Carpenter is things kind of just do what they want to. From what I remember of the thing, they kind of just made up what it did as it went along, and that kind of got annoying to me. And people get mad at other movies for doing that, but because it's John Carpenter, you're not allowed to say anything because John Carpenter is the best director of horror ever. Um, and yeah, I'll have to watch the thing again to see what I think, but with that out of the way, that's kind of what Christine does. Ugh. You don't really get 100% of you don't really get a feel for what she's supposed to be able to do as a car because sometimes she restores her own body, sometimes she doesn't, sometimes she waits a bit, um, and sometimes I keep calling it she, the car, it. Sometimes it's driving through a place that it shouldn't just to kill someone, and it kind of becomes undefined, and I just kind of find that lazy. And I'll get to why it probably is that way, and a lot of the stuff feels a bit lazy in this. But my issue is that's one of my biggest issues is that most of the characters are written so unlikable. Like I guess John Stockwell's character isn't written unlikable, and Alexandra Paul's character just has basically nothing to do. Um, oh yeah, there's a bit with her character, where she like chokes on some food while on a date with Arnie, and he brings her home and she's saying like as soon as I started choking the car got all bright and the radio turned on, and she's immediately saying this stuff about the car did it. Usually that type of stuff happens halfway through the movie, not in the first quarter. Literally the first quarter when we haven't even as an audience been alerted to the fact that the car is supernatural or that it is doing these types of things. That is not how you tell this type of story because it comes off like the character is crazy. Now, even if you've seen the movie already, you won't think the character's crazy because you already have this knowledge of the car being supernatural. But watching this as a first time thing, I can see somebody being very confused by this because she immediately jumps to the car did it. And even then when they're about to have sex, she says, I want to have sex with you, but I can't do it with you in that car. She gets superstitious right off the bat, and it doesn't work. It doesn't work in this case for me at all. And it's not just because I knew that it was about a killer car that's haunted or whatever. It's because writing wise, that just doesn't work. It doesn't work in the term of build up because there's no build up to this, really. He just kind of goes, Arnie just kind of goes from normal nerdy kid that's trying to stand up to his parents who are very overbearing to, oh, he's an asshole now. Yay. And I have to at least talk about the good. There is some good in this film. Even if Arnie's transformation to the douchebag he becomes later is a bit rushed, which it really is. He goes almost full douchebag in the first quarter of the film, at least the first third, which you should have waited until like 2/3 into the movie or 3/4 into the movie, something like that, so that you can really understand the change from the initial character. But I do think Keith Gordon does a good job in this. Now, he has some moments where he strays a little bit, but for the most part, he is going for this performance. I can really give him that. He is trying something different. He's being over the top, and not over the top in a way that annoys me, like Robert Prosky and Alexandra Paul are doing. But he really goes for it, and I can really respect what he was trying to do. Also, whenever the car stuff is happening, whenever the haunted car is going around killing people, those are the best parts of the film. Now, you might say, oh, of course it's the best part of the film. It's when there's actual killing going on. I mean, in the fact that it feels like that's where all of the effort is gone. Because there's like somebody that gets crushed at a wall, and this film isn't gory. This film for some reason has an 18A in Canada, and I guess that's only because of how much they curse in it. And there's like a scene of, I guess, a bit of sexuality because there's a character reaching for someone's boob. I guess that counts as 18A in Canada. That's fucking weird. But there's like somebody that gets crushed by the car. There's somebody that gets two people that get blown up. Um, there's one person that gets set on fire. Very well done practical fire stunt. There's a really nice explosion at this gas station where this one person, there's a really funny dummy shot, at least, where somebody gets kind of flung by the car, and then the other person, like, gets set on fire, and then this gas station blows up, and then the pumps start blowing up, and there's, like, a ton of explosions, and it's really well done. It's really well done shit. Um, Reminds me I should see Maximum Overdrive sometime. But, um, very, very well done there. Um, and I do think the scenes of suspense involving the car do work well. I know some people can't take it seriously because it's a car. I can understand that. I get it if it's not your thing. I get it if you're not into that, into a car being the villain in a film. But other than that, and the fact that the film looks good, and I can also say the score is good, the score is well done, but the story itself, the stuff outside of the moments where the car is going crazy and the effects used with the car, like when the car reconstructs itself in front of Arnie, that's a really fucking cool effect. I want to know how they did that. Other than those things, the film is just really bland. They focus way too much on this love interest character who, again, Alexandra Paul, I swear I've seen her in other films where she hasn't been this bad. But holy fuck, was she not good in this? Like, I don't know. what happened, but I don't know. She just seems off here. Um, and one of the reasons this film might be a bit off is because John Carpenter, I think at the time, had a contract with some company. I can't remember. Um, I'll have to look it up later, but I think it was with Columbia Pictures. And I think this was around the time he did Assault on Precinct 13. No, 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 no. Escape from New York and The Thing. And I think this was another film he had to do on his thing, on his contract. So he was just like, you know what, fuck it. I'm just gonna do a random studio movie, do whatever on it. And from what I heard, he didn't really care how this turned out. He just wanted to get the contract over with, and then most of his other films were independent because of that, because he didn't like working with these companies who were constantly cutting shit out of his movies. Um, I think he's self-financed or something. I can't remember exactly, but um, you can kind of tell with this film. At least I can. It doesn't feel like it doesn't feel like he put his heart and soul into this one. And I'm not usually one to talk about that, but the fact that so many people call John Carpenter a horror master, yes, I like Halloween. Yes, I like Escape from New York. I know that's not a horror movie, but I've liked other things that he's done. They Live is a great movie. But if I were to watch this and hear him be called a master of horror, I would not agree. If this were the only film I'd seen from him, I would not agree. I've not seen all of his other films. I understand that. And I know I have to catch up, but I really didn't care for this one. It's watchable because of Keith Gordon. It is. I do think he does a good job. It's just that a lot of the story and a lot of the characters and just overall like the running time, it's way too long. Um and yeah, it just feels kind of unfinished in ways. But yeah, it's okay. That's the most I can say for it. But yeah, that was my review of Christine. If you've seen the film, tell me what you think in the comments. If you have any recommendations, put those in the comments as well. And movie reviewer next door.